Darren on the men's side.
No, he certainly is. For me, he is the most hot and cold player on the men's tour. Let's see what we get today.
Chardy set to begin the proceedings here. He's from France. He's 25 years of age. Murray, 25 as well.
Love 15.
I would imagine, Darren, that these guys would have known each other well in the juniors as well. They've played 5 times as pros. Murray leads 4-1.
Love 13.
Just before we get too deep into this match, say congratulations also to Sloane Stephens. Just a wonderful effort today.
And Serena Williams making her way to the press conference, so let's listen in a little bit to Serena.
Hi, first question, please.
Serena, your emotions, where you're at the moment?
I'm here in the press conference, and I don't know, I haven't really thought about it too much.
How's the physical injury then? How's the back?
It's fine, you know, just nothing. I mean, I think everyone at this stage in the locker room has something wrong with them, so it's fine. There's no excuse there.
You were serving, though, at about 130 kilometers an hour after the back.
Yeah.
So what exactly happened? Was it just tight, or?
Well, a few days ago, it just got really tight, and I had no rotation on it, and I went for this drop shot in the second set, and it just locked up on me. So I think that I couldn't really rotate after that, which I guess it's normal. I don't know.
So at that moment when it happened, that point when it happened, can you just talk us through that moment?
Well, I was running to the net for a drop shot, and as I went to hit it, it was on the backhand. I even screamed on the court. I was like, ah! But and I totally locked up after that. It was just like it was a little painful, but I mean it's okay. It was what it was.
When you went off court, what sort of treatment did you have? Did you take any anti-inflammatory?
Well, there's only so much you can do for that, so not too much you can do. I just tried to have it loosened up a little bit. I'm already on anti-inflammatories for my ankle, so you know, you can't do too much more. So.
Did it feel better when you came back on? Were you much more free?
No, it was still tough. It's hard to rotate to the backhand, so it was giving me trouble, but it was fine. I think my opponent played well and was able to do a really good job.
Serena, the microphone on court seemed to pick up you saying this has been a terrible 2 weeks or the worst 2 weeks. What did you mean by that?
Oh, I've had a tough 2 weeks between the ankle, which is like this big every day, and my back, which started hurting, and a lot of stuff. So it was.
Is it the worst couple weeks you've had at the Slam?
For a Grand Slam, absolutely worst 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, I'm almost relieved that it's over, because it's just, you know, it's only so much I felt that I could do, and I was unaware the microphones picked that up, but it wasn't. Oh my gosh, it's been a little difficult. I mean, I've been thrown a lot of balls these 2 weeks.
Serena, did you ever think about retiring at any point in the
Doug, are you kidding me? I'm not retiring. Oh, you mean retiring before the match? You mean for the match? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant my career. Like, you're crazy. I mean, I thought about it like for a nanosecond. I thought it's a quarterfinal of a Grand Slam. There's no way I'm gonna, even if, you know, I have to take off in a wheeler before I retire.
And you had the sense that Sloane was freaking out a bit towards the end of the second set, just the drama of it all, and the injury and everything else obviously it was quite hard for her to push through.
Yeah, I definitely felt like she got a little nervous, which is natural. You know, it's her first quarterfinal, and she had a chance to tie it at 1 set all. So I definitely feel like she was a little nervous at that point.
Could you tell us just what you think of her as a player and how far she's going to
push on from here, please?
She's a good player. She runs fast and she gets a lot of balls back, and that's always a plus to have in your career.
What did you think of the quality of the match before you tweaked the bat?
I don't think my level was high. I don't know how many unforced errors I ended up hitting, but for sure more in one set than I probably did in the whole tournament. So I think her level was high, but I mean, as for my end, I mean, you can tell. You guys each can say it's definitely not my best match in months.
So Serena, obviously your serve speed went way down when you had the injury, and then you started to work your way back in the match. In the third set, you know, I don't know if the adrenaline was kicking in, but you started to move a little bit better, even though your serve speed didn't go back up to what it was before. So, but how much of that were you fighting yourself, and how much were you fighting the injury in that third set?
Well, at that point, you just have to pretend like nothing's wrong, and you think of the worst case scenarios. And you know, I just thought, okay, just pretend nothing's wrong and just try your best, and that's what I tried to do. Just even tried to hit my serves harder, and just my legs were fine, so running was fine. I just rotating was a little tough.
Serena, yesterday in the game you also hurt a little bit, so I just want to know before the game today, what do you think about it? Have you ever worried about your injury? Just keep or how can you?
About what?
I mean, just think about it. Think about the injury and worry about that. I mean.
No, I've actually been injury-free for a while until I got to this tournament and just fell and had the ankle issues, and I think that kind of started everything up the chain because I'm compensating and maybe it made my back hurt. So I don't think about the injuries during the match so much. I just try to keep going and honestly do the best that I can, and really it's all I can do for that day.
Did you get some frustrations out with that racket smash?
Oh yeah. Did you see it? I even had a wry smile on my lips after that. It made me happy, unfortunately.
Serena, you were in Mauritius in December for some preparation before coming to Australia. That's my hometown. How did you go there?
It went well. I had a good time. I loved it, and I hope I can go back.
You have to go back now and agree to sign then.
I will.
Serena, you mentioned being relieved that it's been a very difficult 2 weeks. Obviously, it's been a long time since you've lost a match. Does the pressure build up? Does it become more and more difficult to keep it going? Have you felt the pressure of that?
No, I feel no pressure of a buildup of losing a match. I personally don't like to lose, so the less I lose, the better for me. And if that means I have a lot of pressure, that's fine. It doesn't bother me.
So do you think she's too quiet today and quiet? I mean, in the game ground, because in last several games you said you should ground. She's like a little bit quiet, but I mean, also as a mentor for her, she thinks of you as a mentor. I mean, in the future, will you still give her some advice?
Well, honestly, I've never really given her advice. So, but she doesn't grunt. Some people grunt, some others don't. So it is what it is.
Serena, you were such a favourite for the tournament. How do you see it now on the women's side? Who do you see progressing to Saturday? How do you see it unfold?
Well, I think it's interesting. I think Sloane, she's in the semis now, so that gives anyone a chance. I think Victoria's playing well. She's a fan favorite, and she's defending champion. She handles the pressure really well, so we'll see.
Is that number one ranking of big importance to you, or if it's going elsewhere now, does that add to the disappointment, or not really?
No, I didn't think about that so much. For me, I'm trying for Grand Slams and to win titles. You know, get to 50 titles, not Grand Slams, but so I don't necessarily. Number one's awesome if I get it. Like I said, I think I'll get there one day, and if not, you know, I've had it. So. It is what it is, but for me, it's definitely more about doing well in tournaments.
Any last English questions?
I can take one question. Thank you.
All right, so that was Serena Williams at her post-match press conference after the shocking defeat at the hands of the 19-year-old Sloane Stephens. Andy Murray Got a quick break here on Rod Laver Arena. Chardy, not surprisingly, seeming to be a little bit nervous here in his first Grand Slam quarterfinal. Patrick McEnroe, Darren Cahill, Tom Rinaldi courtside for this.
Love 15.
Yeah, for those who haven't seen Jeremy play too much before, the guy just has a huge forehand and a monster serve, and it's going to be Murray's job to try to get to the backhand as much as possible. Probably try to move him to the forehand side to open up a little space as well, but you have to weather the storm because this guy has hit more forehand winners in the tournament than anyone. 90.
Chardy, you see that knee strapped. As I said, he's 25, ranked 36 coming into this tournament. He'll move up considerably after this event. 24 and 20 last year, all even on hard courts. As I said, his best performance as yet in a major is this one right here.
Doesn't move great to the forehand side. There's Jeremy, and his backhand has only hit 5 backhand winners in the matches leading into this one. As I mentioned, the forehand is a high risk shot. It's also made 76 unforced errors off the forehand side, so should be some exciting tennis.
Chardy is challenging the ball. Right far sideline, the ball's got good.
I think we'll find Andy Murray using the angles a little more today instead of the sheer power, and especially on that backhand side where he can drop it cross court inside the service line to get to the Chardy backhand.
That ball on the line, so it'll be 30 all.
Chardy has 2 challenges remaining.
Oh, yes. Chardy nowhere near that one. Another break point opportunity for Murray.
30-40.
Got him totally fooled there. Well, not that surprising. A very strong start for the U.S. Open champion and a very shaky start from the first time quarterfinalist in a major. 3-love Murray. Another beautiful day at this Australian Open inside Rod Laver Arena. Familiar territory for Andy Murray for the 5th consecutive match. He's playing a day match here on Laver Arena. Tom Rinaldi, how are the conditions down there?
Very warm here in the sun and pretty still. A stiff breeze outside in the outer courts, but a little bit of a storm in the Murray camp, Patrick, and that deals with the scheduling here in this tournament. Yvonne Lendl and the Murray camp complaining that Andy Murray has played every match during the day session, has not had an opportunity to play at Laver at night, even though he's the #3 seed in this event, and that from here on out, if he's able to advance, he will not have had the opportunity to play at Laver, and if there's an adjustment period and it has to come against Roger Federer, that could cost him a little bit. As for Murray, he's really downplayed it and said the schedule is what it is.
All right, thanks, Tom.
15 love.
Federer's had some big name competition early on. Davydenko, and he played Tomek, of course, the Australian hope. I think that was a big part of it. He'll take on Joe Wilfred Tsonga a couple hours from now here, which will be the night session at Rod Laver Arena. You've been in that situation countless times, Darren, with Leighton Hewitt and Andre Agassi, Yvonne Lendl, now Murray. That's sort of your job, isn't it, as a coach, to sort of go in there and have a little quiet chat with the tournament director, the scheduling committee?
Yeah, you're trying to do the best thing for your players. So there's no question that they would have gone in there and requested a night match with anticipation, with that Federer-Murray Friday night semi-final in mind. Absolutely. But
not even with that matchup, but even just the fact that you know the semis and the finals are going to be at night. Yeah.
The other flip side of the coin is Murray's draw has been rather kind.
30-15.
You put yourself into the local broadcaster's shoes, Channel 7 here, and obviously they want the best matches during their primetime coverage. And all of his matches, I'm not sure that would have been great ratings winners. So certainly the Federer does draw the ratings. Conditions down courtside, Tom. Looks a little breezy there.
14-15.
Just a slight breeze stirring right now, but again, warm in the sunshine, no question. You mentioned Roger Federer, Killer, and he came out as the most popular athlete in Australia at 2012 poll. So that gives you an idea of the ratings poll that he provides down here in Melbourne.
Yeah, his popularity in Australia is unbelievable and well deserved.
I think his popularity around the world as he moves the needle wherever he goes. And of course, Federer had a trip down to South America, which he did for the first time over this past off season, which was incredibly successful. Andy Murray, as for him, well, he did his usual off-season routine and down in Florida, Darren. Well, he continues to train extremely hard in his off-season, get himself in better and better shape. He has not been tested really physically, endurance-wise, in this tournament yet.
15-9.
As you know, Patrick, there was a slight possibility that Roger Federer would have become an Australian a number of years ago. He spent a couple of years down here in his teenage years when his dad was working, and obviously has a very strong relationship with Australians, having a couple of coaches that have looked after him in the past.
Let's for serve.
Yeah, it's wonderful tennis from Andy.
Well, he's just having his way here early with Chardy.
He's got one of the best returns in the game, has Andy Murray, and he won't change too much against Chardy, even though his serve is big. Just behind the baseline to return the first serve, but very aggressive in returning the second serve. It's been a big part of his game that he's worked on with Yvonne Lendl, is to be more offensive on the second serve return. Danny Valverdue next to him on his left has been the assistant coach for many years. Andy Ireland in front of those two guys, his physio that's been traveling with him for about 4 or 5 years now.
Oh, it's good. Not called out. Wow. Murray showing off his speed there.
The sideline, the ball's called out.
The ball was just wide.
13-15.
Darren, you and I were talking a little bit earlier in this tournament about that great speed that Murray possesses over a short haul and how hard he's worked at that explosiveness.
Let for serve.
That's right, Tom. He in fact has 2 strength and conditioning trainers that look after him, and they sort of split the travel time between the two. Matt Little, who also works for the LTA in England, and also Jez Green, who is here.
Big first delivery from Chardy, trying to get himself on the board here. And he does so with his second ace. So Chardy on the board, but Murray firmly in control of this opening set, up a double break, 4-1.
Welcome back to the Australian Open 2013, presented by Franklin Templeton Investments.
Welcome back to our continuing live coverage of the first major of the year from down under in Melbourne, Australia. Andy Murray, the number 3 seed on the men's side, up double break. Number 3 seed on the women's side, shockingly, has exited this tournament. Of course, that's Serena Williams, at the hands of the young 19-year-old Sloane Stephens in a 3-set marathon.
Here we see Andy Ireland in the front row next to Kim. Kim is the girlfriend of Andy Murray. Right of her, or left of her, is Louise, part of his management company. In the blue cap, that's Jez Green, Denny Valverdue, and Yvonne Lendl.
And Judy Murray, his mom, just behind there. Would you say, Darren, that Judy has literally and figuratively taken a bit of a back seat in the coaching camp?
Since Yvonne's come in?
Yes.
That's a good call.
Okay, all right.
She is a delightful lady. And spending some time with her, she has a very wicked sense of humor. You can see where Andy gets it from as well. Very dry sense of humor and not overly understood in the tennis world, but certainly is very well liked in the locker room.
Chardy starting to find his range a little bit. There's Judy Murray. She started out both Andy and older brother Jamie, the local tennis club in Scotland when they were kids.
She's the captain of the Fed Cup team.
I was been lucky enough to sit in on a few meetings with her at some of the Grand Slam player development teams over the last year or two since she's taken that position. Yeah, she knows her stuff. Break points here for Chardy. Frenchman gets one of the breaks back.
Nice little move there by Jeremy as well. He gave himself a little more time, and especially on the second serve by standing back. And as you can see, he likes to wind up and take a big swing on the forehand. Started the match by trying to be really aggressive on the second serve return. Just too many unforced errors. Now just trying to keep the ball in play. Chardy came into this match winning 93% of his service games in the tournament, and already today has been broken twice.
Straightforward about Chardy's run to this quarterfinal. Had a 4-set win in his opening round against a qualifier. Took out Granollers from Spain, the number 30 seed, in 4 sets. Then took out Del Potro. That was really the big shocker of week 1. That was a 5-set win. And then he took out Seppi, another seed from Italy, in 4. Thank you back home, staying up late, watching us here live from down under. 30. Had a 2-set lead against Del Potro. The Argentine fought back. Chardy held strong in the 5th.
Here's a beautiful slice backhand. Chardy Doesn't come over it all that often. When he does, quite often he can leave the ball short, so he likes to go to that slice backhand to keep the ball low out of the strike zone. Already see Andy's tactic here is not to hit two balls in the same place of the court. He doesn't want to play this guy trying to get to the backhand. He needs to keep moving him and also try to get to his legs if this match is extended. I believe that was Chardy's coach, Karai Abakar. It's just a 27-year-old. This is his first coaching gig.
Wow, that's pretty successful for first. He's only 27.
Wow. Played the Pro Tour, got to about 800 in the world, working at the Patrick Mouratoglou Academy. He'll be in the box, I dare say, after he consoles Serena, as he's also the coach of Serena Williams.
Well, Chardy about to spend some time practicing in the offseason with Serena. Well, after a shaky start, a little bit of a roll here from Chardy. Still a break to Murray, 4-3, first set. There's one seat open there. Who do you think that could be for?
The boss of the academy, I would say.
After he takes care of, as you said, consoling his most famous charge, Serena Williams.
You got a pretty good setup over there as well. Do a lot of their training in France, and as you said, trained in Mauritius and Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. Martina Hingis has done a wonderful job in the last year and a half coaching the kids.
Yeah, Pavlyuchenkova had a good start to the year down under as well.
Grigor Dimitrov has also been there for a couple of years, but I believe he's left now, training with the Swedish camp. Sneaky move.
Well, he's got Murray on his heels a little bit here.
See how far back Jeremy was standing to return that second serve, and that's because he does want a forehand and certainly doesn't want to give away too many loose errors. He's doing well on the second serve returns. Murray is 1 from 6 so far.
Murray looking to reach his 4th consecutive semifinal or better here. Of course, winning that first major, that elusive first major at the Open last year, U.S. Open. Yep. It's a part of Murray's game that he's really beefed up to, isn't it? An ability off a sort of slow ball to his forehand to accelerate and go after that shot.
Sure is.
Chardy continuing to cheat over into his backhand corner, looking for his big forehand. Murray's on to that play. 15 all at 4-3. Wow. I guess my question to you, Darren, is what took this guy so long? Boy, he's got some firepower.
Yeah, he's very wild. I've seen him play some of the best matches a player can play. Then I've seen him hit the back fence and break down some unbelievable the way he plays sometimes. But he seems to be putting it together, and he's certainly exciting to watch when he plays well.
101 miles an hour on that last forehand. Usually a big one's between sort of 85 and 90, so that's just monstrous.
Movement has seemed to improve in the last 12 months, and especially the little steps. You want to play as big as he does and take the swings that he does, then those little steps to get yourself in position have to be there. I was courtside for their match when they played in Cincinnati last year, and that was an interesting period for Andy because he just came off the Wimbledon loss and then the gold medal win at the Olympics, and he played in Canada, pulled out in his second match in Canada with a slight knee injury, but actually turned up in Cincinnati ready to go. He wanted to play well there leading into the Open. And he was hands down beaten by Jeremy Chardy. Actually, the scoreline was a little favourable towards Andy Murray because he got a little bit nervous trying to close that one out, but Chardy was just pumping the forehand and Murray couldn't get to the backhand.
There's the famous Roger Federer shoes, which according to Brad Gilbert, he had to buy them himself.
Zero chance of that.
That's what I thought. Game point for Murray. He's got a different brand. He's got the Lacoste clothes.
Yep.
Oh, smart second serve there. So Murray rights the ship and a little fist pump, but Tom Rinaldi's courtside, and it seems that Chardy, at least mentally, Tom, has settled down a little bit.
Absolutely. I thought it was a great point that Killer made about sensing some anxiety and some nerves here early on. Huge stage for him in this match. He's really seemed to settle down. And certainly one physical note that talk about the strength of that forehand. Even down here, the sound of it is cannon-like when he winds up, and it's not like he's playing a weak hitter in Murray.
Thanks, Tom. 3-5. Chardy's trying to stay in this opening set.
Yeah, big shout out to my good buddy BG as well for coming to the savior for me today. We played in the Legends doubles, and my partner Mats Verlander pulled up lame after yesterday's match. I think he carried me too much, so he had a bad back, so I gave Brad 45 minutes notice to see if he'd come down.
My guess is
team up with me and play the Woodies. 5 minutes later, he said, I'll be there.
He was pumped up.
Yeah, ready to go.
Good. One of those wilder forehands from Chardy. Already in this opening set, he's littering this stat sheet: 10 winners and 10 errors. Murray with 7 winners to 6 errors. A lot of talk this tournament, Darren, about the court conditions being quite a bit quicker here this year in Melbourne Park, and judging by how many slice approaches, I would say that's indicative of that. Difficult to do that in the slower, grittier conditions in the past.
Yeah, Matt's actually made that comment yesterday in our match that he couldn't believe and was pleasantly surprised by how fast the courts were. That was the outside courts. Rod Laver Arena is a little bit slower, but in general, the courts seem to be playing faster than last year.
Obviously, the consistency, Darren, of the top 4. Now you put Ferrer in there with Nadal out. His number 5 will become 4. They're still winning, though. There's not. Does it favor anybody in your mind once you get to those semifinals or potential final matchups?
No, I don't think so. Okay. I still think it's a even matchup, fair surface for all players.
Yeah, Chardy has weathered the nerves of this opening set. He's still down 1 break, though. Murray will serve for the first set. Another glorious day here in Melbourne. 20-5 here in the afternoon, couple hours away from Roger Federer and Joe Willie Tsonga taking the court. Of course, much to be decided here in this quarterfinal.
No, he guessed right, and he made it, and he won't be happy with himself there. Not a very good drop shot.
Got to be judicious, don't you, as to when to go to that forehand of Chardy, because he can make some big errors, some misses, but he's so explosive. It was a big return that set up that point for him.
It's been a really good effort here from Chardy to stay in this set after making a disastrous start, getting down 4-love, but he's hung tight. He's cut out a few of those loose unforced errors, and he's making Murray work for it. Maybe getting a little bit tight here as well to try to close this one out. 87-6 in majors is Andy Murray when he wins the first set.
Let for serve.
Aggressive forehand there from Murray. Good serve, sets up the easy forehand, 30-all.
A little bit to your point before, Patrick, about Murray having to go to the strength of Chardy to get to the weakness, and you see all those balls 38% of the time going to that dangerous forehand side, and that's to open up the court to get more balls into the backhand side of Chardy.
That's quite a bit. That's also testament to Murray's confidence in his mobility and his movement. One of the quickest players on tour, certainly on this surface as well. Big serve there. 132. Excuse me, 129 that was. Set point now. That's the most I've seen Murray sure with himself and his camp this entire tournament. He's had an easy draw to get to this quarter, but he's feeling a little heat right now.
It's been the first game, Patrick, that he's begun to chatter a little bit with the box and show a little bit of frustration with himself. But he's been able to handle this set more easily given the lead he had early.
Tom, he's well aware and knows that Jeremy is very much a confidence player. This first set is big for him.
Back to deuce. Oh, yes, that's well done.
Advantage Murray.
Second set point.
And that's the danger. If you lay the ball in trying to get to the backhand, and Chardy's got enough time to run around the backhand, that side of the court is where he's best. That's where he gets the most power and can open up the most angle of the court playing the forehand from the backhand side of the court. He's so dangerous there.
Advantage Murray.
He's beefed up that serve, hasn't he, the last couple of years? That's really helped him. not doing well in his second serve so far in this match, just 3 for 11 on those points.
He's had a very good average going into this match at 62% on second serve points won. 27 on this match.
Yeah, hasn't played anyone that's got the firepower off of the forehand wing that his opponent today does. Takes a big cut at that. Murray relieved as he gets through the opening set. 6 games to 4. The place still buzzing about the upset of the tournament. Serena Williams is out. We'll give you highlights of that. Well, the always relaxed Roger Federer as he does his little pre-match warm-up in the late afternoon, getting set to take the court in a familiar situation, a Grand Slam quarterfinal under the watchful eye of coach Paul Annacone, looking for his 77th career title and his 18th major title. Joe-Wilfried Tsonga in his way tonight. The winner of this match will play the winner of that match in the semifinals. A couple of birds are flying down around court level here.
Andy Murray has just reeled off 8 points in a row, just broke to love to put his nose in front in the second set.
Okay.
First set to Murray, 6-4, 2-1 with a break. We've seen a lot of explosive play off the Chardy forehand. He's hit 7 winners off that wing, but not that often on the backhand. That was a good one there, but still has yet to hit a winner off that side. Patrick McEnroe, Darren Cahill, Tom Rinaldi courtside for this men's quarterfinal. There's the next quarterfinal coming up about 2.5 hours from now. First men's semi is set. That will be Novak Djokovic taking on David Ferrer.
Seemed in the past, guys, there were times, and the only time that Andy Murray had any connection with his box was really when he was frustrated or something negative. But even after that last break, a series of small fist bumps where he connects with Lendl and tries to get affirmation, not just shed frustration.
14-15. It's been a big improvement, hasn't it, Tom? I think it's fine to get angry and never going to be Bjorn Borg on the court, that's for sure. But also to mix that up and show some times when he's positive is very important for him.
Pretty positive serving in that game. Few quick points. Murray solidifies the break. 3-1 second set.
Big issue here for Jeremy is making sure that he fights through that feeling of just being satisfied of making it through to his first ever major quarterfinal. No one really expects him to beat Andy Murray, but he's got to try to fight through that and draw as much positive stuff from the last time they played and come out here and put the pressure on himself to step up.
Azarenka winner was a tight first set over Kuznetsova. The Bryan brothers continue the roll. They just love it down here. They're into the semis. And that last time they played, of course, was the one win that Chardy has been able to get against Murray. In Cincinnati last summer on a hard court. Before then, it's been, other than that one, it's been all Murray. 4 other wins for Murray. Each time they've played, by the way, has been on a hard court.
Love 15, Chardy has to challenge Germany.
Ball toss there. It's going all over the place. It's trying to be a working serve, a kick serve for a first serve, and that's so far over his left-hand shoulder that he fell over trying to make that serve.
And that trio of birds does continue to swirl here down from the open air part of this arena here at Rod Laver, and both players looked at each other, said that they played through it, but shadows and the birds still flying.
Ball toss in a much better place there, and he can get his weight moving through the ball and into the court, and a lot more pace on that first serve.
Fourth ace.
133.6 miles per hour.
Wow.
How did that sound, Tom?
Loud.
It's like a gun going off.
It's like there's the shot and then there's the echo.
For serve.
Murray still looking up at those birds. Still haven't left. Sometimes they sort of get trapped inside the stadium. They can't figure out how to get out. The roof sort of sometimes half closed.
Now this will be break point for Andy Murray. And just speaking about the ball toss from Jeremy Chardy, look at the variation on this ball toss. The yellow dots for the first serve, how much that's moving around, and the second serve is the blue dots. And that's a lot of variation. That means he's chasing a lot of those working serves, those kick serves, and losing a lot of balance and a lot of miles per hour.
Break point. And he's really struggling on his second serve. In fact, both players are exactly the same. 4 for 13 on second serve points. Yeah, very similar to the opening set where Murray jumped out to a 2-break lead. Chardy was able to fight back somewhat in that opening set. We'll see if he can do it here. This guy looks pretty uptight before his semifinal, doesn't he, Novak Djokovic? Look at this. Gangnam Style.
Good stuff.
He may not have been doing that on his day off after the Wawrinka match, but as he took out Thomas Berdych in 4 pretty comfortable sets last night, he'll take on Ferrer tomorrow night in the men's semifinal.
He actually did that across at the Hopman Cup in Perth, and he was playing mixed doubles with Anna Ivanovic, and he made Anna get up and do it with him. She was shocked. She was so embarrassed. Oh, well played. Well, I wish Jeremy had showed this much energy and consistency in the early games of each set, because he's really got himself into a hole in both sets. Small window of opportunity to get one of these breaks back.
Love 30. We talked about the consistency of the top 4, and now probably throw Ferrer in there as he's back into the semis again. Lost to Djokovic in the U.S. Open semifinals. Murray's been in the semis of 7 of the last 8 majors. Of course, the only one that he really struggles on is the clay of Roland Garros. He's going to have to do better, a lot better, I think, Darren, on clay if he wants to make a run for that #1 ranking.
I agree. It's been nearly 8 years that Andy Murray has lost a major match when he's won the first 2 sets. He's 71-1. Last time he lost from being 2 sets up was against David Nalbandian, 2005 Wimbledon Championships.
Break point.
Left for serve.
Oh, yes. That's really Murray at his best. Wonderful defending. You know what I love about this point, Darren, was what he did right here. Look how Murray steps up to that ball. See how quickly he took it off the bounce? Look at that beautiful movement to the ball. And it took time away from Chardy, who was charging forward. Still break point. Oh, he missed it.
Now it's got to be heartbreaking for him because he played just about the perfect point, put himself into a winning position. Really would have won that against most players 4 or 5 times before it got to that shot.
Two break points saved. Back to deuce.
Yeah, he's used that serve really well. And it's dangerous going to Chardy's forehand, but he wants to skip to his left and hit this second serve, moving to the left, expecting the one down the middle, and just catches him with a well-directed second serve out wide.
Deuce.
Murray's won 25 titles in his career, but none of them on clay. It's a big difference over the last couple of years between him and the other big 3. That lack of success on the dirt.
Yeah, I don't think he's made too many finals on clay either. I know he made the semi-finals a year and a half ago in Monte Carlo. Lost to Nadal. Lost in the semi-finals of Rome, the Italian Open, and that was to Djokovic 7-6 in the third. It was one of the better matches of that year. Can't remember too many finals on clay that he's played in. It's well played. You like to see this. Setting a couple of breaks down. Struggled in the early games, but still hanging in here to see if he can make something good happen in this second set.
Chardy certainly shown that he's got a lot of explosive power, just not quite consistent enough to really threaten Murray.
Advantage Murray.
Murray, meanwhile, with equal the amount of winners in this set, both with 7, now 8 with that ace. Murray just 3 errors. Very clean tennis. And another game point.
Game Murray. Chardy is changing the ball. Left far sideline. Ball score's good.
Chardy's challenging this one, but the balls are down and the towels are out, and it's 5-1 now to Murray.
New balls, please. Murray leads 5 games to 1.
Here's a little stat that will bring a smile to the face of Ivan Lendl, and that's so far in the match that Andy Murray has hit more forehand winners than Jeremy Chardy. 9-8. Pumping up that forehand a little more.
I don't think there were too many matches that Ivan Lendl played where his opponents hit more forehand winners than he did.
He was all pumped up to go to the golf course yesterday. He was playing with a young protege here in Australia, Ryan Ruffles. He's a 14-year-old. He's the son of former Davis Cup player in Australia, Ray Ruffles. And he told me last year when Ryan was 13, Ivan had one of his best rounds ever, shot a couple of under, and lost by 4 shots to Ryan.
Wow.
Love 13.
Double digits now, Darren, on that forehand wing and winners. Number 10.
That's a good move. Nice aggressive return, but also to follow it up by coming forward and knowing that Chardy was going to float that reply. Good positive attack from Andy Murray.
Well, what a clean set of tennis this has been for Murray. Absolutely dominant. 10 winners, 3 errors. Murray losing just 1 point in this set when he's made the first serve, 14 for 15. Still set point.
Murray is challenging the ball left waistline. The ball's called out.
And that ball is on the line. Tough break for Murray, actually. At the plate, too. think he's terribly concerned at this point, up a set in 5-1.
Wow, nearly fell over.
That ball toss was all over the place. So Andy Murray in charge, 2-0. And we come back, got a special treat for you. Sloane Stephens with her on-court interview after her big win over Serena.
Just another stroll to the office for Roger Federer coming up tonight. He takes on the finalist here in 2008, Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. That's 3:30 a.m. Eastern time, just a few hours time from now, as our live coverage continues. And we are building toward an incredible weekend here. Andy Murray's already up 2 sets. Let's get back inside Laver and Patrick.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris. Chardy serving here. It's love 1. He's at 30 all in his opening service game of this third set. First 2 sets easily to the number 3 seed Andy Murray.
What about Sloane Stephens? I got to give her a little clap for that. Not only the way she played, but that on-court interview, that was priceless. Well done, Sloane.
Guys, I know we've shown it graphically, but it's hard to overstate how much Chardy is struggling with that ball toss. It's just absolutely all over the place, and there really isn't discernible breeze or wind down here. It's just an inconsistency right now, which has cost him.
And the sun is not above him, right? The sun is off to the side, so that shouldn't be a factor. The bigger factor is the occasion and the opponent, I think. And Murray starts this set exactly the way he started the first couple of sets, with a break.
Jeremy Chardy has only once come back from 2 sets down, and that was in the 2008 French Open in the second round against David Nalbandian.
Left 15.
Here's our ESPN.com courtcast. Who will win their second major first? Azarenka, who's in the semis here. Li Na also in the semis here. Del Potro, he's out to this man, Chardy or Andy Murray.
15 all.
Well, certainly Azarenka will be the solid favorite against Sloane Stephens tomorrow. Li Na probably the slight underdog against Sharapova. Murray will take on the winner of Federer and Tsonga if he gets through this.
13-15.
There's a couple of those ladies, Darren, might think things a little bit easier now with Serena out of the mix. Not so for Murray yet. Meaning that he may have to beat Federer and Djokovic to win his second major title, which he's certainly capable of doing.
That's the one thing that Chardy has done well so far in this match, and that's attack the Andy Murray second serve. Serving stats from Andy are very good. 68% of first serves in. When he makes that first serve, he's winning 83% of the points, but only 25% of second serve points won. 5 from 20.
30 all.
Latins, second serve. Latins, second serve.
Moving forward for Andy as well, potentially up against Tsonga or Federer. Both those guys do that to Andy's second serve. They do attack it.
Good second serve there. Chardy's always looking to sneak around and hit that big forehand return. There's the serve profile. First two numbers outstanding. Third not so good, but he hasn't had to hit too many of them. Game point. Well, one-way traffic in this one so far. Andy Murray just rolling right along. So he looks to get back into the semifinals at the first major of the year. Well, familiar names deep into a major here again for the men. Novak Djokovic taking on David Ferrer. 2 sets to love down was David over his good friend and compatriot Nicolas Almagro. Came back to win it in 5. And of course Murray well on his way to another major semifinal. Chardy appearing in his first quarterfinal of a major. It's been a great tournament for him, but thoroughly outplayed so far in this one.
Any seat?
Murray's won 10 of the last 11 games. Chardy made a little push in that end of that opening set. He was down a couple of breaks, got one back. Once Murray tucked that away in his pocket, it's just been all Andy.
As coincidence would have it, Patrick, I drove home in the car last night, and the driver that took me home was the very same driver that took Nicolas Almagro home after his 5-set loss to Ferrer. And obviously I said, how was he? Because that would have been devastating for him, serving for the match 3 times. And she said he was actually quite good. They're talking about the match quite a bit to the driver, and said he was cramping midway through the 3rd set.
Wow.
He's quick.
And he sure is. You know, he doesn't look it, Darren, when you watch him sort of hit the ball, but man, when he gets off the dime as quick as anyone.
It's great to watch him when he takes those first 2 or 3 steps, because he puts his foot down, his head down, and you watch him move those first 2 or 3 steps, long, fast steps, and gets that momentum going so he can run through the ball.
He had plenty of time when he got to that ball. 30 all. What kind of speed, Tom, does that remind you of from another sport, that kind of explosive speed of an Andy Murray?
Well, we certainly know that who it reminds Jess Green of. He referenced Usain Bolt. You know?
Wow. That's confidence in your guy, right?
Say, Patrick, that it is that explosive speed you do see in football, particularly in elite defenders in that linebacking core or a safety who can really close on a ball that quickly. He has got spectacular speed over a short burst.
I think it's a lot like baseball as well, where you have to complete the shot, swing the bat, and then take off for first base. Those first 3 or 4 steps.
Oh, what a get again. Now Murray's feeling it now. And Chardy says, what do I have to do to get this ball past this guy?
Advantage Murray.
This is Clinic City here.
Very impressive because Chardy was hitting the ball hard.
Drops over.
Yes.
Don't know if you could hear that yell up there, but if you think there's been any waning in intensity in Andy Murray from down here, he certainly showed some frustration over the luck of that bounce. There's no foot off the accelerator here.
And I can hear a French accent sitting next to you there, Tom, as well. That wouldn't be the great man Henri Leconte, would it?
Yes, it would. Behaving himself.
Advantage Chardy. Murray is challenging the ball. Left service line. Ball's called good.
Challenge from Murray, but that ball
Advantage Chardy.
on the
Murray
line.
has 2 challenges remaining.
So a game point.
Game Chardy.
But Chardy able to get on the board in this 3rd set, but still Murray firmly in charge. You can join us at 3:30 a.m. Eastern time. We're continuing live coverage of this year's Australian Open. Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, slimmed down Joe Willie, taking on the legendary Roger Federer right back here at 3:30 a.m. Then live coverage continues on the Tennis Channel at 7 p.m. Eastern Wednesday night. More live coverage.
Yeah, the other Roger in that battle is Roger Rashid, the new coach of Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, and I know he's really looking forward to this one. Been working with Joe now for about 8 weeks and spent a real tough off-season, and even across in Perth at the Hopman Cup where Joe was playing, that was treated more like a training block for Tsonga and worked him incredibly hard even on the days he was playing. Actually, one of those days in Perth, Joe thought he was getting a day off as Roger told him to put on his board shorts and we'll head to the beach. Joe was all excited to be going down to the beach. They ended up doing sprints in the sand for 2 hours.
Well, hopefully at least you got a dip in the ocean.
I'm sure.
Right? That's about as big as Chardy can hit a forehand. That second to last swing, and Murray just handles it, absorbs that pace, makes him hit another one.
You see that little look also that Andy gave his camp there after that last point that he lost. You know, it's 6-4, 6-1, 3-1. And he gave that little look across to his camp. And I think that's more for himself, to make sure that he's concentrating and he puts this match away, because there's no real need to be stressed right at the minute.
No stress in that camp, that's for sure. Ruthlessly efficient today, Andy Murray. 28 winners, just 15 errors. 6 of 9 on breakpoint chances. Absolute dismantling of his opponent. And yet another forehand winner. 2 sets to love, and now 4-1 as Murray pushes ahead. Welcome back to our continuing coverage of this men's quarterfinal. Andy Murray well on his way. A return appearance in the semis here.
Love 15.
Last year was a year of milestones for Andy Murray, breaking a lot of records. And he's pretty close to doing another one because he's one slam match away from Fred Perry's record of 106 matches and majors wins. Yep.
Well, that's a nice one for him, but you know, without that win at the U.S. Open, it
wouldn't matter too much.
Yeah,
would
it would putting more pressure on him. He handled it so well, though, I thought, Darren, because obviously he was frustrated by it, but knowing who he was dealing with, the great players, you know, first it's Federer, then Nadal comes along, and then you think you're making inroads on them, and then you have Djokovic becomes this phenomenal big match player, and he just stayed the course, kept plugging away.
Got that.
Oh, and he misses the easy one, or did he?
Murray's challenging the ball.
He's going to challenge it.
That is some serious speed.
And that ball just barely missed. Dare I say a millimeter or two?
I think, Patrick, it was great for him that the Olympics came so closely after Wimbledon. Such an emotional match for him to play. And the best match that he had played in a major final against Roger Federer. But the fact that he could get his mind straight back on another big event.
Yeah, because when he had some of those losses, like here in the final to Federer when he got blown out, Djokovic, it took him 3-4 months to get his head back together.
Dug a hole for himself straight afterwards. And he knew it as well. He's struggled with a lot of those hard court losses straight after the Australian Open.
Break point here for a 5-1 lead. I'll tell you, Chardy, I mean, he certainly hasn't given up, but he's just been thoroughly dominated in this match.
Murray leads 5-1.
I think at all, if Andy did have a letdown last year, it was more so at the end of the year after chasing his first major, and obviously the Olympic gold was huge for him. After he won that US Open, it was tough for him to get it back up and play the indoor season and then finish in London. And he's had a chance now, the 6 weeks before the first tournament of the year in Brisbane, to charge up those batteries again and do a good off pre-season. He won that first tournament of the year in Brisbane. The other big thing also is I don't think he played great tennis in the early rounds at the US Open. He was struggling a bit with his game, and he got better as that tournament went along, but he's been in great form in every match so far in this tournament.
And he really had to battle to win that major title against Djokovic. Tough conditions that day, very windy. Djokovic fought back, but Murray won it in 5. He's not going to go 5 in this one.
15-all.
Three points from the finish line.
$30-15.
And also remember a major where Andy, even if he's winning and playing well, it's not sort of tugging at a body part or feeling his hamstring or just not feeling comfortable with something physically. But here in this particular tournament, you don't see any of that.
It's to 2 points from the match and throws in his first double.
Oh, well done, Jeremy Chardy.
Yeah, he crushes that return and prolongs this match for at least a little bit longer. 2 sets and now 5-2 in the third to Murray. So Murray lets a break slip away there, trying to close out the Frenchman Jeremy Chardy, but still with a comfortable lead, 5-2 in this third set. Oh yes.
15 love.
Actually, look at the score line or the stats, Darren. We've talked about the stats of Murray, which are exceptional, 31-19 winners to errors. For Chardy, you would think he'd have a lot more errors to winners based on the score line. But not the case. He's actually hit 25 winners and just 28 errors. So it's really a testament to how well Andy Murray has played in this match. Just hasn't given Chardy much to deal with. Where he's really gotten hurt are the second serve points. That's where Murray's, both guys have struggled. But Chardy's just 5 out of 23. No.
30-15.
No strings whatsoever on that forehand drive volley attempt there from Murray, but this has also been a big thing for him, is the fact that he just hasn't played Chardy to one side of the court. He's been moving him left and right consistently throughout this 3-set match, and I think Chardy may be more tired in this one than he was in that 5-set match against Del Potro.
30 all.
And Chardy took out Juan Martín Del Potro in the third round here. He won the first 2 sets comfortably. Del Potro came back to win the next 2. And Chardy won it 6-3 in the 5th. That match took 3 hours 45 minutes. This one just an hour and 50.
Big wear down factor as well, playing those matches back to back. A tough one against Seppi as well.
30-40.
Certainly not too much gas left in the tank for Jeremy Chardy. He's had a wonderful Australian Open, making it through to his first ever quarter-final. But Andy Murray, 1 point away.
And the domination of Lenda, he's out the door already. He's already going back to the locker room as his man threw easily. As he's now into his 4th consecutive Australian Open semi-final. A very convincing performance for the number 3 seed.
Big concern also from the Murray camp was playing in the heat of the day, all of his matches, and using up some of that fuel tank before he meets either Tsonga or Federer. But playing just under 2 hours against Chardy, he's going to be feeling very good about himself going into that semi-finals.
So Andy Murray now has reached the semis or better in 8 of the last 9 majors. And David Ferrer taking on Djokovic. That'll be under the lights tomorrow night. Murray can take care of his responsibilities. We'll have a chat with him as well, we hope. And he can kick back tonight and watch Tsonga take on Roger Federer, the last of the men's quarterfinals. Promises to be a good one. But Murray, no problem at all today as he takes care of business in 3 sets. Tom Rinaldi standing by to have a chat with the winner.
We're here, you're not. Ain't that a crying shame? You in the wet and cold, us soaking it up down under. It's a crime, that's what it is. And what's worse for you, it's yesterday, while we're already living in tomorrow.
Well, Andy Murray just said in his on-court interview, he'll be with Tom Rinaldi momentarily, that he hopes that Roger and Joe play for 5 hours tonight.
I'm sure.
He's 10-9 overall, actually a winning record against Federer, but 0-3 in majors against Roger. Against Tsonga, he's got a pretty commanding lead, up 7 matches to 1 in that head-to-head. So a pretty routine performance. Welcome you to our commentary box here. Patrick McEnroe, Darren Cahill. And very routine affair for Andy. He's looked very, very sharp throughout this tournament. Hasn't really been tested and got to feel pretty good about where he is. Not only the fact that he's had easy matches, but I think he's picked up his game, too, the last couple of matches. It's been very crisp.
Certainly has, Patrick. And I think even though he had a really good record, 4-1 over Jeremy Chardy, the last time they played would have sent a few warning bells through the camp and making sure that he came out and played that type of tennis that we saw today. And he's had a fairly comfortable way through the draw. It's been kind to him. I know there was a lot of talk about the fact that he hasn't gotten a night match and he's played all these matches in the heat of the day, but part of the reason for that is it has been quite a comfortable draw for him, but you still have to get the job done, and he did it in sensational style today. Didn't waste too much energy on the court, so he can go back, rest up, and make sure his tank's 100% for the semi-final.
Now, I would guess that he wouldn't say who he wants to play because that's what the players do.
He would rather play Tsonga.
He'd rather play Tsonga.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Saying that he will probably play Federer, I think we both... Well, you can have your own thoughts. I think Federer will get through that one tonight. I think it'll be a good match. He's never beaten Roger still in a major. You obviously got him at the Olympics, which is a huge result for him. Is that still another check that he needs to get off the checklist?
100%.
Okay.
Absolutely. To beat him over best of 5. Remember, winning the gold medal at the Olympics was a best of 5?
Best of 5, just
it
in the
was
final.
just the final,
yeah.
so it was a best of 3
well,
tournament
remember,
until the final.
And Roger had that long match
That's
against
right.
Del Potro. He was a little bit fatigued, I think, going into that.
Look, I think there is a little bit of a difference. I think that Andy took a lot of confidence out of the fact that he was able to beat Roger in such a big match, and we saw that go through to the US Open. But this is a little bit different playing at a major, because you put in 7 best of 5 set matches, or 6 to get to the final, then you have to win that 7th one. And he doesn't have great memories of finals here at the Australian Open. He lost a comfortable one to Roger Federer, and he really got whacked good by Novak Djokovic in that final just a couple of years ago. So for him, going into this semi-final, the bigger test, I think, psychologically would be to get over Roger Federer. And his game is quite comfortable against Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. So I think tonight, whilst he'd love to see them play 5 sets and beat themselves up a little bit, I think he would like to see Tsonga come out and win that one.
Well, let's hear what Andy has to say. He's standing by with our Tom Rinaldi. Tom?
Patrick, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Andy, you're playing against an opponent with such a powerful forehand in Jeremy, who had beaten you the last time you faced each other. What was the key to the success today?
To keep the ball away from the middle part of the court, really. You know, when he's dictating from there with his forehand, he's tough to beat. He'll hit his forehand big and come in. Use a lot of serves into his forehand to stop him from running around on my second serve, which worked well. And I thought he used the angles to his forehand well to open up the space into the backhand, and came into the net when he was hitting slice backhands pretty well too on some important moments. So I thought I did a good job tactically today, because he's a tough player.
How do you rate your form overall to this stage?
I think it's been a bit patchy, but today...
Well, why?
I didn't feel that particularly great on the court the first few rounds. You know, the last match was a tough one. There's no rhythm because Gilles Simon was injured. You know, and then today was the best match I played, which is good. So hopefully, you know, I'll continue to improve, and I'll need to play a great match if I want to get through to the final.
Federer Tsonga coming up. We heard you say on court, your only hope is that they play 4, 5, 6 hours or so. How much do you pay attention? Do you watch, and what can you glean if you do watch the match tonight?
I'll watch a little bit for sure. I won't watch the whole match. I'll, you know, make sure I do all the right recovery stuff, and, you know, focus on getting my body as good as possible for the next couple of days. I might also try and hit some balls under the lights on the high sense this evening, just to get used to conditions in the evening, because obviously much slower. But I'll watch a little bit. But obviously both guys play different to how I play, so, you know, my tactics might be different to Joe's and Roger's, so that's why I won't watch too much.
Well done to this point. I appreciate it. You have an opening right here. Was there something you wanted to say?
Yeah, we were just discussing that Killer, when he interviewed me the other day, came with a nice suit and tie, and there you've gone with a top button undone and no tie, so a little bit disappointed, to be honest.
I'll try to work through it and improve for the next time, Andy. My apologies to you. Let's throw it back to you. Killer, we're going to have a discussion.
Killer, you gave him some advice not to wear the tie. I mean, and he's the master of the ties, Mr. Rinaldi.
What's the deal with Andy Murray giving fashion advice to anybody anyway? Did you see?
No, he needs a little help in that department, I think.
Goodness
No
gracious.
help with his tennis game right now.
And interesting to hear that he might go across to Hisense to hit a few balls under the lights to fuel the nighttime conditions. So I think that's a little Ivan Lendl move right there.
Yeah, also interested to hear that he wasn't particularly happy with the way he played. I look at his scores of the first couple of rounds. I mean, didn't even get to a 7-5 set through the first couple of rounds. So obviously his expectations are quite high, which is great to see. And he is through to the semifinal. Jeremy Chardy, the shot maker from France. Well, he was smothered today by Andy Murray as he books his place into the Australian Open semifinal.